Hi everyone, Stepan here. Hope you're having a great day. I'm playing the Caro-Kann, so we'll see what happens. I'm playing Alexei Koval, whom I've never faced before. His blitz rating is 2100, so corresponds his rapid rating quite well. We'll see what happens. It's always weird when people think on move 2 in the Caro-Kann, just go d4 or d3. Let's see. Now I wanted to test my fantasy with queen b6, so I'm kind of hoping he's gonna go f3. Other than that, I wish he plays knight c3, because I need some work done on the classical. I don't want another exchange, and I don't want a Panov, so I would like knight c3 or f3. Let's see what happens. Very strange to be spending a minute on your first 3 moves of the Caro-Kann. Come on! Okay, the classical, nice. I'm going to play the Carpov because I'm trying to get better at knight g5, bishop d3 or knight g5, bishop c4. I just hope he plays one of the main lines. I'm pretty tired of knight f3 after knight d7. People seem to play that because they don't know the main line theory. So they just go into those boring positions where white isn't playing for an advantage. And the whole idea behind the Carpov Caro-Kann for white is to use the fact that black has blocked in this bishop on c8. So you try to exploit that by playing aggressively. So here you either go bishop d3, bishop c4, or knight g5. If you go knight f3, then the position is equal. So let's mark this in red. Alternatively, yeah, why do people play knight f3? Now you could play knight e5. That's interesting. And then black plays bishop e6. I've faced this a lot in tournament games. Recently, 2 of my Carpov games went knight takes f6, knight e5, and I went bishop e6. The idea is g6, bishop g7. This is just too passive. This is, I mean, I can even develop my bishop outside of the pawn chain. If the bishop was on c4, I could not, because on bishop c4, bishop g4, bishop f7, king f7, knight g5. Well, let's not dwell on that too much. Let's just go bishop g4. I also could have gone bishop f5. But this is just equal. My bishop is outside of the pawn chain, and the bishop actually belongs on d3. So I very passive play from my opponent, I have to say. This isn't the best way to punish the Carpov. So what the Carpov Caro-Kann avoids is all the nonsense with the h-pawn and all the nonsense with the doubled f-pawns that you get from the early knight f6. Now, which diagonal do I want to claim? Do I want to go bishop d6, queen c7, castles queenside, or bishop e7? I'm going bishop d6 because I want to increase my control over the e5 square, and I'm not afraid of bishop g5. I'll just go queen c7, threatening bishop takes f3. I'm playing quickly, that's good. I'm up 3 minutes on the clock. 4 actually. No, what am I? I'm counting wrong. I'm up 2 minutes. Okay. Now, if bishop e2, queen e2, if bishop e5, then bishop h5. If bishop g6, then knight g6. H g6, do I have enough? I don't think so. So I believe I just take on e2, trading off my bad bishop. But I could also go bishop g6, and then he probably goes f4. I'm not sure I want to be developing his queen. And if I go bishop g6, I'm opening up the h file. And I want to go g5, g4. But do I really want to leave him with a light squared bishop? Yeah, I'm playing bishop g6. I don't want mass exchanges. It's going to be very hard to win if we trade everything. I have to play for a win, so I'll pretend that I'm playing somebody 150 points lower rated in a tournament game, and I'll play for an advantage even though I'm giving him the bishop pair. If he wants to open up the h file, that's great. If he does not, then, you know, I didn't trade pieces. So, okay, now I was thinking queen c7, but then he may have bishop f4, still trading everything. How does bishop e5 look? Bishop e5, d5. Queen takes queen, rook takes queen, and knight d7. He can defend with bishop f4, but I don't really want to give up my dark squared bishop, so kind of like queen c7. I'm gonna go queen c7. Now I'm threatening to take, and I'm threatening rook d8 or castle's queenside. My goal is to keep as many pieces on the board and try to launch an attack if he takes on g6. He doesn't have knight f7 because I just take with the bishop. And on bishop c4 I can, I don't know, even go queen d7. I don't have to rush things. Or I can just castle queenside and give up a pawn. In the Carpov-Caro-Kann, it's often about who commits their king first. So in this case, white had committed to castling king side, and my king is still in the center, which is a good thing in this case, because I can respond to, let's say, b4 with kingside castling, and if he takes on g6, I can castle queenside. Now if he plays f4, that weakens his king quite a bit, and I'll always have c5. Maybe even bishop e4 immediately. I mean, the position is just equal, I think. I have to challenge the e5 square, but in order to do that, I need to either go knight d7. Okay, now this prevents knight g6. So Can I just castle queenside? Commit my king already? I can also go knight d5 and f6, but that weakens my e6 pawn. So if I castle queenside and he goes, let's say, b4 or queen a4, then king b8. If queen a4, then king b8. If b4, then knight d7. And on knight g6, I take on g6 with the h pawn. And the h file is open. If I go knight d5 straight away, then knight g6 probably, or bishop h2. Yeah, I'm castling queenside. I want to play for an advantage. I don't want a passive position. This way I'm on his queen if he does something bad, like, I don't know, queen d2. Okay. Now, can I give up an exchange? I don't think so. Let's just take back. Okay, queen takes or rook takes. Queen takes prevents c4. Yeah, okay, queen takes prevents c4. Let's take with the queen. Now I have the f4 square for my knight. That's going to be my idea. So knight d5, knight f4. He can obviously never play g3. If he plays queen a4, I have to spend the move on king b8, but then I'm free to go knight d5. He never has c4. That was the idea of queen d6. Prevents knight d5, that's smart. I'm wondering if I should be doubling my rooks or playing for knight f4 still. So if I go knight h5, he takes, I take with the rook. If I go rook h4, he probably has rook e5. So I feel like I should be controlling the e5 square. So kind of like knight h5 immediately. Knight h5 takes, rook takes, controlling the e5 square, preparing to double and push my pawn. I'm gonna do that. That seems the most aggressive. g3 of course fails to knight g3. I think he has to take. If he allows knight f4, there are too many sacrifices I could play for. Wow. Okay, he wants to go queen e5. Okay, so knight f4, queen e5. I mean, knight f4, queen e5, queen e5. If rook e5... Yeah, rook e5. If he takes with the pawn, I'm good because I have rook d2. But if he takes with the rook, I probably have to go f6. I don't think knight d3 is good because he plays rook e2. I don't know. I'm not sure I have enough. Then again, what else do I play? I have to go for this. This is the only option, it seems. Yeah. Okay, so I take, he takes with the rook. I can then go f6 and start moving my pawns. I need to start the kingside attack regardless of his strength on the king side. So how do I meet bishop g4? I would meet it with f5 probably. So let's just start defending this pawn and get my king closer to the center. Okay, let's defend this pawn some more. Now that he played rook e1, I can say, well, not safely, but f5 is safer because on rook e5 I have knight d3. I'm not really too happy about having my king on a light square. So my plan is f5, g5, g4. Yeah, I don't know. My knight is better than his bishop, that's for sure. Whether it's enough to win, I don't think so. Will I try to win? Yes, I will. I have a few ideas. His idea should be to push the queenside pawns and open up the position on the queenside. I actually think he shouldn't have gone rook a1. He should have just played a4, b4, or c4. Sorry, Lucia and my dog are going out. Sorry about the noise. Yeah, queen e5 was a strong idea. It just stopped my attack completely. Let's see. c4, I feel, is the correct way to play for him. Followed up by d5, where I take once and play e5, and we get this position where he has a pawn blocking his bishop. But then he gets to play down the c-file. Maybe that's not that good. I have to keep my king on d7 to keep defending my rooks. I don't want my rooks undefended. So hypothetically, if I went f5, g5, rook h4, What would I get after g4? Okay. I don't understand this at all. So I'll just go g5. He wants to transfer the bishop here. And then maybe go g3. Okay, so let's go g5, and if he plays bishop b3, I'm going to play king d6 to run away from the checks. And I could even follow that up with rook h6. Okay. Why didn't he play c4 before? I don't get that. Now if he goes d5, I take once, he takes with the c-pawn, I go e5. But not if I go f5 first, then e5 will be undefended. If I go king d6, he could go bishop b3. Okay, for the moment d5 doesn't work. So I'm gonna go king d6. Get my king away from the light squares, from the pins and the checks. And control d5 some more. Now if he goes c5, then of course not king d5 running into mate, but king d7, and on bishop b3 at least I have well, worst case I have knight d5. I'm gonna go rook h4. Because on rook e4 I have knight d3, and on g3 I have knight h3, and on bishop g4 I have f5. And my idea is to go knight g6 and put some pressure on d4. Okay, now if I do go knight g6, he can defend with rook e4 or rook d3. But I like transferring my knight to f5. I think it had served its purpose. But I have to be slightly careful. Knight g6, rook e4, f5, rook h5 takes, and then bishop h5. So I'd have to take with the knight. Still, what else can I do? He has bishop g4, because I cannot play f5, he just takes it. So I would have to go knight f8, followed by g6, and then f5. I'm not playing well. I can safely say that. Okay, so knight f8 seems forced, because if knight e7 he takes. So okay, knight f8. I'm happy he didn't go bishop g4 at least. I was planning to go f5 here. Unfortunately, he has bishop f5 at the end of that line. So if f5, rook h4, gh4, bishop f5 does work, my rook isn't defended. Damn. Okay, so let's defend the rook. Let's go rook e7. I don't want my rook hanging. Now this is a promising endgame because of my advanced h-pawn. I don't think I have nearly enough to win, but still. Okay, now I was thinking that I may be able to go c5 here. So c5 takes, king takes. Seems fine. c5 d5 takes. Okay, I'm going c5. d5 cannot be played, so he either plays rook e4 or takes on c5 or rook d1. Is he gonna run out of time? Come on. Okay. So I like knight d7 here. But then he may be able to go d5. Okay, I'm still going knight d7. Okay. It's time to defend my h-pawn. So I'm gonna go g5. Again, sorry about the noise, Lucia just came back. I'm guessing b6 is my only move. Oh no, I can take. I can take on d4, and if rook takes d4, I have king e5. He takes on b7. Then I go king c5. Yeah, that's a good endgame. His bishop and his rook are undefended. Okay, now king c5 seems good, defending my pawn on the c4 pawn. Next move, knight e5, taking the pawn. It feels so good not to be the one in time trouble. I can just take this, unless he means to push. Oh, maybe I cannot take this. I don't know what to do. I cannot take the pawn. How did I lose this game? What's going on? How is he playing so well now? Yeah, I'll just resign. There's no hope here. How did he do this to me? Wow. Okay, let's see. Why didn't I see this? Why didn't I see knight b6? Come on! This is probably the most painful game I've played in a while. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye bye.